Hello, dear viewers. Today we have an interesting poem to discuss, and that poem is interesting because the title itself is very interesting. The title is Dust of Snow. Robert Frost was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in the United States. Known for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech, it is the introduction of Robert Frost. He says that he is very famous for all these traits, and indeed, Robert Frost is a very famous name in the world of English literature, hailing from America. And then he depicts rural life, as well as he is very good at colloquial spoken English kind of an approach. Frost frequently wrote about settings from rural life in the New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. He has written on complex themes also, and themes of philosophy, stopping by woods on a snowy evening, and all these birches, and all these poems are wonderful. They look very simple and comprehensive, but they hold a very big lesson, inspiring philosophies he has written through his poems. Robert Frost. The poem Dust of Snow by Robert Frost is a simple and short poem, yet with a deeper and larger meaning. I already told you, although this is a short poem, but it has a deeper and larger meaning. The poet explains how an act as petty as experiencing snow on one's body can brighten one's day up. The message of the poem is put in words by Robert Frost. And some small things, if they happen with the snow, and if we actually truly notice these things, these are actually, according to Robert Frost, signals sent from heaven above for human beings to hold optimism and positivity and take away all these negative and pessimistic approach. Always, always a larger significance, a little thing touches a large thing. This is the philosophy Robert Frost has given in all his poems. But presently we'll see Dust and Snow, a simple yet a deep, meaningful poem. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, the poet was sitting one day in isolation, surrounded by all melancholic thoughts. This happens with us when we are down with anxiety, with impatience, with losing hopes and all that. So we become totally hopeless. Similarly, the poet says that I was sitting all alone, and it was the entire surrounding was also giving the message that nothing is good in life. But what happened? The way a crow shook down on me, and suddenly you can see in this picture that this crow shook down on poet little dust of snow, like some snow, some frost, some snow fell on the poet because of the movement of the crow. And then what happened? Hemlock is a kind of tree. Has given my heart a change of mood that saved some part of day I'd already rued. And this act, small act, that you are sitting somewhere totally losing hope and everything, and suddenly if some dust or something, maybe if not the snow, if raindrops come to you and they give you a message, that is where nature gives us so many signals. It gives hope. The poet suddenly gets to see hope that no, nothing is over, because the snow will never remain the snow forever. Change and transformation, they are part of life. If it rains and if it floods, it's not going to be flooding and raining forever. Do you think so? No, rain will stop and there will be a clear sky. The dark clouds have a silver lining, a famous phrase or a line that we remember. That is where the poet also says that he got to know from that act of the crow, dropping the snow from the tree on the poet could get some inspiration. And the inspiration is that this challenging time too shall pass. A very famous line, this too shall pass. So this message must have echoed in the heart of the poet when he had heard the voice of the snow. Of course, it is touching him, but they're not speaking, but that's a calling from the God side, from the nature side, and a message given to him of positivity. He has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. He had already rued that day, spoiled that day. He was sitting melancholic, he was sitting dismayed, disheartened. But this just message, this message what he's receiving had given him, a bigger, larger, impact. And what is that message? The message is that nothing stays permanent in life. Even sorrows cannot stay forever. One day sorrows have to go and delight has to come. Pleasures have to come. Happiness has to come. Ecstasy has to overtake melancholy. That's the message which the poet has received. So that is there, the small but very wonderful philosophical poem, Dust and Snow. We'll see the literary devices now. Rhyming scheme, as I already read it that way, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. Alliteration, the repetition of consonant sound, has given my heart and saved some parts, saved some, given my. So this is all, alliteration. Inversion, when the structure of sentence is changed by the poet to create rhyme. The poet has used different, style, different sentence pattern. Inversion, putting verbs here and there. So that is inversion. That is also poetic license, and it creates beauty. It's so small a poem, but then poet Robert Frost has this charm that he creates lot of impact in his small poems also. In stanza 1, we can see inversion. Assonance, the prominence of vowel sound throughout the line, shook down on me. So, O sound is prominent, that is where we call it assonance. It's of course the part of alliteration itself, consonance and assonance. Enjambment, when the same sentence continues without any pause. This I have previously also told. Enjambment, when there is no punctuation mark and it continues the statement. So, that is where it is enjambment. It has been used throughout the poem. There is no stopping, it's going on like that. So, with this, an enjambment is described, and with this wonderful, short and sweet and meaningful poem, Dust of Snow, comes to an end. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much.